Good evening, everybody, and welcome to FTB Sports. This is the post-match reaction show for Wolves versus Spurs at Molineux. And the score was 1-1. And we have on Mike and we have Darius. First things first, could you like, subscribe, share, comment, do all the things, links in the description below. Try and get those numbers up. As you can hear, my voice very disappointed. Good evening to my guests. Welcome, Mike. Welcome, Darius. I'm going to start with Mike. Give me your assessment.
The killer for us was scoring one goal in the first minute of the game, because from that point on, you'd expect us to go and take the game to Wolves more and look for the second goal. The second goal would have killed that game. The way it was panning out, it just needed the second goal, and we would have walked away with 3 points. I think from the midfield back to the keeper, I don't think any of the lads had a bad game. I thought Son was piss poor today. He just was not on form whatsoever. Kane's frustrating me. I'm starting to get a bit frustrated with Kane, because he's just dropping into that 10 role, and when he's giving it back to whoever it is that's played him in, when he's gone back, they haven't got an outlet up top. So then they've got to go sideways, or they've got to go home, because where you'd want Kane to be on that back line, running off the defenders, there's just nothing there. And it's just frustrating. And you could see it as the game's going on. You could see the lads obviously were holding on for why they're holding on for a 1-0 win against Wolves. I mean, you're just inviting pressure on. I thought Winks had a decent game. I thought he got there was a few comments flying about on social media about Winks in the first 45 minutes, and I thought it was quite unjustified, really. I thought he had a decent 45 minutes, to be fair to him. He was busy. I didn't see him lose possession in that first half. I know there was comments flying about him getting booked needlessly, but I think it was the tackle on Traore. But Traore was breaking free, and it was just coming up to half time. So take the free kick, give away the free kick, take the yellow card for the team, and go in half time 1-0. But it's just frustrating. We should be looking for the second goal to kill these teams off, because, as I just said to you, half these teams we're coming up against, they're not better than us. It's just our tactics. It's obvious Mourinho's got this thing about get a goal, however early it is, and then just sit back, and then we'll try and counter and play on the mistakes of the opposition, and hopefully we can be clinical and grab a second or whatever. But we can't keep doing that for the rest of the season. Teams will just start to find us out, which you could argue they probably are slightly. It's just painful. Yeah, it is a little bit frustrating. I mean, the flip side is it's away. Wolves are a decent team, and at least we got a point, and we didn't walk away with a loss. So, yeah.
I'm going to come to you, Darius, because I don't want to say much yet. I want to hear what you guys are saying and make a bit more of an assessment. In terms of the result, 1-1, what do you think we deserved out of it?
I think that's what we deserved, really. I think even if we deserved the draw, I don't think that we really worked for it, and I don't think we really worked for the win. So can't work for a win inside the first 5 minutes and then expect that to be it. Like, the game is 90 minutes long. However long it takes to score that first goal, there's always an opportunity for another team to score. Even if it's 80 minutes in, like you said, 85 minutes they scored their goal, and in that last 10 minutes they looked like they were good. Well, they had a chance. Fabio Silva had a great chance to score a goal. So it can be 1 minute, it could be 10 minutes, it could be 90 minutes. There's always a chance to score a goal. And I just want to elaborate on a few points that Mike said, because I think I agree with most of what he said. I think the only player who didn't have a good performance in that defensive line was Sanchez. I think Sanchez is now, for me, a lost cause. I don't know if I am being a bit harsh, but I think for me, watching him, and I was paying specific attention to Sanchez, for me, he's a lost cause. He doesn't know how to defend. He has no positional awareness. It's almost like it's becoming a liability on some of the players, because I can see that when he goes out of position, Højbjerg or Doherty, or even at one point it was Son, had to cover his space. And I don't think that helps the shape. But at the same time, the shape and the system is put out by Jose, and it is just not working at the moment. And all of the points that Mike made revolve around Jose's system and how he sets out his teams to play. And he's setting us out to play to draw, or he's almost setting us out to play as if we've already won the game. And we're not actually taking any chances once we get that lead. And I think that, like we've all said, Dyer and Alderweireld are good. They're good centre-backs. They're really good centre-backs. But when Jose had that team in Chelsea back in 2004-05, he had elite centre-backs, world-class centre-backs. And that's why he could afford to play the way he played, because he knew he had a centre defensive partnership that were able to command and to keep a clean sheet if they had to. This defense, I don't really want to call it the defensive line, because a lot of players play well in that defensive line, but it's something to do with the system, because every single time we take a lead, I don't feel confident now. After these past 4 games, I don't feel confident. I don't think we're a good enough team defensively to play this style. I think we have to score at least 3 goals for us to be able to play the way that we play. That's my opinion.
So I'll have a bit of a say now. We first on the shape, the 3-5-2. So the 3-5-2, I could understand playing that today. There's a couple of reasons for it. One, Jose possibly could have looked at matching up with Wolves. The other reason for playing that 3-5-2 with Reguilon as a left-sided wing-back and Ben Davies as a left-sided centre-backs was to deal with Adama Traore, and they did that well. For me, Ben Davies had a good game. I think he really did, marshal him as well as you can, as well as I've seen anybody do that. But the biggest thing, I've got some things I wrote down as the game was going on. I said, we started the game well. We have started, and the stats came up that, we're in the first 15 minutes, we scored 8 goals. As the next team behind us has scored 5. So it shows, obviously, we've got something in us to start games well. But once you go 1-0 up after 1 minute gone, it still should be considered 0-0. That's a bonus. The game's just started. You've got a bonus goal. It's not like we scored that 45 minutes in, 75 minutes in. That's a bonus goal. So play that same way again. They're under attack. They're thinking to themselves, we're 1-0 down here. Bloody hell, it's a minute gone. Get that second goal. If we go in 2-0 up at any point, I know we've had the West Ham aberration, but that's just one of them games that happens. This now, with teams into this part of the season, we're in the Christmas period, energy levels. Once you see 2 goals on the board and you're at home, you're thinking to yourself, this is going to be really hard. They were always in the game. And then we never had enough aggression in the pressing, particularly when they're in their defensive half. We had a block that was kind of mid at times, was it a bit low, but there was no aggression in the pressing. Even when they came into our half, it was still kind of lackluster. We get close, but not close enough. We're not stopping crosses. They crossed the ball many, many, many times, even though we did well to marshal Traore. They had corners, and they're not even the best team at set pieces. But what happens? You get into the 80 whatever minute, and I don't care what level of football you're at. Pressure will tell if you have to maintain something with 5 minutes to go. It's all online. Mentally, we're still not there yet. You can see it was just not there. I saw players giving the ball away. I saw, like you said, Sanchez for me is not Premier League level. He should be out of the starting 11. Why Rodon wasn't playing, I don't know. But I'm frustrated at the result. Like you said, Mike, there was no real. You can't really say, oh, he had a mare, he had a stinker. That to me is down to the manager. That's not getting that second goal when we should have. That second goal kills it. So I'll come back to you, Darius. You saying that you think Jose's maybe got to do something else? Is it firmly on him for this result?
Yeah, I think this result specifically is on him. I think and it's not even like we can't say that we can't attack. It's not like we're Arsenal, where you watch an Arsenal game and there's nothing there's nothing in the middle there. Apart from when they played Smith Rowe the other game against Chelsea, there's nothing in that middle. There's no reason for them to be able to create an attack. With us, if you looked, as soon as we conceded, we looked like we can actually attack, and we didn't even have the players on for a good, you know what I mean? We didn't have Ndombele on the pitch to create any attacks, but we could still create attacks because we have the quality to do that. Even if we had Sissoko, Winks, and Højbjerg in the middle, we were still able to create things. Bergwijn came on, made a difference. Even Lamela he was hustling in that middle. You're able to create something, but if you set a team up to basically play for, because it's like we're playing for a draw. It's like we're okay with a draw. In this specific season, in the 2021 season, when there is 4 points separating the first and ninth position teams, a draw is just not good enough. It's just not good enough. 1 point is going to do absolutely nothing for us. If Villa win their 2 games in hand, if Man United win their game in hand, we're going to be a couple wins behind these teams. And if we're constantly playing teams around us, unable to pick up points, it's going to be difficult to see where we're going to actually get those points to catch up with the teams. And then when you come to 2 months later and we've potentially dropped too many points to catch up with teams that are actually going on win streaks, because Liverpool, like I said, Liverpool dropped their points today, but Liverpool have won a lot of games despite having their injury woes. So when they come back into it and they have their players coming back, they're going to be even more confident. Chelsea as well. Chelsea don't have a great record at the moment, but they have the players. And I believe if they had a manager who was of a world-class level, Chelsea would be able to kick and push on for a title. Manchester United are doing really well. So I just think all these teams look like they're doing better, and we don't look like we're getting better. We look like we've shown our best. It looks like the Man United game was our best performance of the season.
So I'm just going to come back to Mike then. So based on the starting 11, were you happy with the starting 11? Were you happy with the starting 11 and the formation that we played today?
Yeah, to be fair, I think I don't have any concerns really with the formation. I think it works. You can see the formation work because we got the early goal, and it was quite an open game in the first half. I thought it was quite open. I mean, the second half, you could argue that we just sat back and sort of was trying to soak up that pressure and try and hit him on the counter, which obviously didn't work. But the players that he put in as well, to be fair, I thought Sanchez didn't have a bad game. I honestly didn't think he had a particularly bad game at all.
I must, well, like I said, I think I'm watching him very critically, and
if I was going to say, if I thought anyone had a bad game or just didn't seem to be able to get into the game, or it would have been Son. I honestly don't think he had. Me personally, I probably would have hauled him off earlier than when he did, because when Lamela came on, he looked quite lively. And to be fair, he probably could have come on earlier than he did. And I think if he got the chance to grow into the game, he might have caused a few problems for Wolves. Because he's always one of those players where you just don't know you don't really know how to handle him, because if you go in on him, he's likely to go like. He always seems to be able to nick a foul. Yeah, it's just unpredictable. So, and Sissoko coming on, I don't. Again, it just rings negativity, doesn't it? I mean, I probably would have liked to see Ali come on, just for that bit more forward thinking.
So frustrating. I'm frustrated, and the reason for the frustration is we played the final game of the Sunday. You know, we've gone on knowing the results, knowing teams have dropped points. You know, we've got an opportunity to go back into third place, 3 points behind Liverpool. And this is the frustration. I look at the game overall as well. I don't think we're aggressive enough in the pressing. I don't think we're aggressive enough when they're in possession. You know, I saw enough times when they were on the ball, they were able to turn, and players still didn't get close enough to them. Players allowed, and I was saying any player, I don't care what level, again, I'm saying any level, if you give them time to pick a pass out, they will pick a pass. You know, you've got runners coming on. They played that inside ball all day for us, and it was like they were just picking that ball on the inside right channel on our left side defensively.
And the thing is, with that back line as well, if you're putting Sanchez in that back line, you're playing him basically for his pace. So why didn't they just push that line up to the halfway line, sit on the halfway line, and like you say, pressure Wolves, because they've got mistakes in them.
But they didn't play Sanchez as the centre of the back three. They played Dyer. Now, Dyer's quick. Dyer's got some pace. And I'd rather see him as that last man, because Sanchez, for me, his positional sense, as Darius was saying, is not up to scratch. I don't think he's up to scratch. I saw him chasing into midfield. Every time his player was going a little bit deeper, he'd follow him. But yet, a player knows, right, if my defender's now going to follow me, let me see where he's going to follow me to. and he was going into midfield, and Sanchez was following in. So they saw that, and that's a weakness in the area, because that means that you don't have that. So the whole reason for having the back three is that you've got 3 players in there, so that you can be very, very tight in there. When somebody starts doing madness like what I saw today, no, I'm not saying he did that all game, but we're talking top level here. And like I said, I've coached for a number of years. I know what I'm looking at, and I can see from a player he's not at the level that we need. They were on the back foot from the back. Sorry, we were on the back foot from the start of that second half, but we looked like we just didn't want to get the second goal. Why?
Yeah.
What is it about this attacking in like spurts? Why can't we just go for it in the first 20, 30 minutes and see where it ends up? Get 2 goals.
I actually think that
2 goals.
Yeah, I think going forward, I actually think the 3 in the back works for Tottenham and the system that we play, because it's the personnel that was the issue today. I actually agree with Mike. The formation actually works, especially with Wolves as well. They're known to play 3 at the back. Them playing 4 was an injury. It was injury related, I believe. But at the same time, playing 3 at the back could actually work for Tottenham and Jose, because it allows us to build from the back a lot easier. If you notice that our build-up play from the back going forward was actually much better. We were able to keep possession and bring the ball up, instead of, because if you notice, we like to play long quite a lot, and I don't have a problem with playing long all the time. I don't think that every team should always play from the back, but we seem to lack playing from the back. We seem to be able to do that more, but obviously we're sacrificing a player going forward as well. So when we got to that middle stage, especially when Ndombele came off, there was no player to link apart from Kane, who is getting predictable now. Kane is going to always drop in. So you've only got Kane dropping into that space. So if we actually sort the personnel out and we play potentially 3 at the back with Højbjerg, Lo Celso and Ndombele, and you've got 2 creative players, and you still got 3 defensive players and Højbjerg at the back, and then you've got your flying forward, your flying fullbacks, you're still going to be able to have that midfield strength with Lo Celso and Ndombele, but you'll also be able to have that defensive rigidity as well. So I just think it was a personnel thing. As soon as that substitution with Sissoko was made, and I don't know what to think. It was so difficult, because we're winning and you think, yeah, hold on to the lead, but I can just tell that we're just not good enough. We don't have good enough centre backs to be able to do that. So maybe with better centre backs, that might be a better, like you say, it might be a better option to do that. But with the centre backs we've got now, it's just not going to work.
Picking up on your point about the build-up play, which I agree with. I agree that the 3 at the back, if you potentially have a 3-5-2, should initially make you create from the back to build up from the back. But I'm looking at the stats now. The stats, and this has only just come off, obviously, so it's got to be ratified. Possession, 55% to 45%. So this is all Wolves first. Shots on goal, just to go back. Shots on goal, 11 to Wolves, 6 to us. On target, 6 to Wolves, 3 to us. Corners, 9 to them, 2 to us. Fouls, 20 to 13. So in all departments of the game, they were winning against us. Now, I know why them possession stats are probably as they are, even though in the first 15, 20 minutes, we looked like we had a good control of the game. It's because we went 1 goal up. And I saw what we did. We allowed them to have the ball. When we had possession, they pressed us. I know they had to chase the game from the start, but it wasn't a mad chase. It was controlled. Right, we'll press in these areas of the pitch where we can maybe get this ball, nick it off you and cause problems. We never really did that. I don't remember seeing us nick the ball without a mistake in their final third. Sorry, in our attacking third. To be able to have
you guys know that 100%. You guys know if we didn't get that goal in the first minute, we probably would be playing a lot more high octane, a lot more intense, and we would even if it was 30 minutes and we hadn't got a goal, we do this where we play until we score. And I said this last week. We play until we score, and then we go back to a shape. It's like, okay, we've won 1-0. We've won. No, we haven't won at 1-0. We as Tottenham Hotspur are not a good enough team to have a 1-0 lead and sit on it. We need to have at least, in my opinion, 3 goals or 2 or 3 goals before we even think about playing like that. In my opinion,
well, sorry, Mark. I was just going to say our defensive record is such that I think we're the 3rd best defensive team in the league. So we can defend. What the problem is that we give away silly goals. We give away goals at times where it's the wrong time of the game, if that makes sense. Had they scored in the 60th minute, it gives you a chance to come back in the game. Had they scored in even the 70th, but when you're 1-0 up and it gets to the 84th, 85th, you were asking for trouble. A 1-0 lead, you're any team, you're asking for trouble. And the trouble came because we was watching the game and Darius made a good comment about Sissoko. I think we took off for even further off the gas when we brought him on for Ndombele. And that means that we cannot have any control. We can't even then counter-attack properly because, there's nobody that does what Ndombele was doing. Son,
and he ran the game.
He wasn't holding the ball up. Harry Kane is, like you said, he's been worked out. They know that if they get tight to him, don't let him turn. He can't play them passes. It's quite easy to see. And I'm hoping now, our next game is what? Fulham on Wednesday at home. I'm hoping I see a drastic improvement in the urgency, not necessarily in terms of how we play, because I think I'm taking it for granted that we play this way, but it's the urgency of that aggression and that start. Yeah.
See, we've got Vinicius, haven't we? He's not even making the squad. I honestly don't get I've seen enough of him to know that he should be given a chance at the very least in the Premier League because he's big, he's strong, and he can finish. So if he wants Kane to be dropping in deep, we'll bring Vinicius on and let him be that number 9 who's just sat on the back line waiting for a ball to be clipped through or clipped over or him to be played in.
Because perfect sub today. The perfect sub today when you're playing a 3-5-2, Son and Kane are up top. You take Son off and you put Vinicius up there. He's not a player that just is a total number 9. When he was at Benfica, he could play as a bit of a wide player. He could link up play. He can be that target man. So he has the ability to play the front, and he's quick.
And he's got a good eye for a pass as well. He's an all-round centre forward, and I just think I can't make or think of an excuse as to why he's not even on the bench. Like, he's not a starter. He's not played in the Premier League. I get that, but at least put the guy on the bench. At least give the guy an opportunity to make a difference.
They can't be. It's not like he's trying to bed him in because give him a year to see if he
He's only got a year, hasn't he?
Because he's only on loan. We're not going to pay 45 million for a player that we don't see play. That's not going to happen. So we've got to try him. And I keep saying, I'm going back to it. This lies on the manager today for me. This lies on Jose, not the players. Obviously, we want them to maybe possibly take a little bit more of the owners themselves when they see certain things happening. Like I said, with the pressing thing, I remember when I was coaching, I'd get my players to see that. If they can see that's happening, they can get other players to kind of dial into it. So bringing the likes of Lamela on, he gives you that sort of energy, that buzz, and makes players do that. But you brought him on too late. If you're going to do that, bring him on earlier, make him buzz around earlier. Do you know what I mean? So again, 1-0, Jose think it's all right, we've got this game in the bag. This is what I want you to do, players. And this will be a problem if we don't have a 2-goal advantage.
Yeah, I mean, what he should have done. It was quite clear that Son. I'm going to put it down to Wolves realizing that Son is obviously a threat, and they've nullified that. So bring him off at half time and bring Lamela on at half time. Give him 45 minutes because he will cause problems for any defence. Then he gives him 45 minutes to grow into the game, and potentially make things happen. But I mean, I'd like to see Vinicius in that Fulham squad. When is it? On the 30th?
Yeah, Wednesday. We play
Wednesday. I like to see Vinicius, especially against Fulham. I mean, it's an ideal game for him to be given some minutes just to show what he can do. It's just frustrating because there's no reason we shouldn't have gone on to get a second. We could have gone on and got a second today quite easily because that Wolves got that back line. They've got mistakes in them, Wolves.
Semedo, Marcel. There was so many. They weren't even playing their proper formation. They weren't even playing their natural formations, were they?
No.
When you score after 1 minute, you should just take the mentality that you haven't scored at all. It's the same 0-0. You score after a minute, nothing's gone. The game hasn't started yet. They haven't started, but they're 1-0 down. So if you get another goal, it's 2. You know what I mean? And it feels like it's only 1 goal. Do you know what I mean? It's the mentality side of things. Because then you can we can see this out. You play the games in phases. You then play, we'll play the first 25 minutes. We're cool. We get to half time, 2-0 up, we're cool. Then you can play your game in the second half. You can then start slowing things down. And even if they then get a goal late on, defensively, you would hope that you can then see that out. 2-1. We should be able to see that out. Now, I know we've had them, but I'm going to come to both of you just to kind of get your out of 10s and then kind of just a little bit of a look forward. So I want to try and wrap this up so we can get this on live, on streaming straight away. So Mike, just your out of 10 and what you're looking for from the team in the next game.
Well, as in terms of performance today,
yeah,
I'd give it a 6.5.
Okay. What are you looking for from them from the next game then? What can change to get the result, particularly with playing at Fulham at home?
We've got to be the thing that's got to change drastically is just our forward thinking in terms of if we get the goal. It's a common thing in Sunday League football. If you get a goal early doors, treat it as 0-0. Go again for the second. So for me, what's got to change? It's just our forward thinking. We've got to be more aggressive from an attacking point of view, just to make the defence's life that little bit easier, just to keep the pressure off them. Because no back line wants to have the pressure for 90 minutes where it's 1-0 or 0-0. Yeah. Because you're playing in the Premier League. Any team can beat any team. No matter what minute of the game it is, a goal could happen, and it can happen in a split second. So make the defence's life that little bit easier, get a couple of goals, and then just, like you say, kill the game and just keep the defensives sort of that pressure off the defense a little bit. So I'm looking for us to be more attack. I want to be more attack minded against Fulham. There should be no reason why we're not.
Okay.
So
I'm going to quickly come to Darius because I want to try and see if we can get this show wrapped up. So again, just out of 10, Darius, on that one, and then just a quick thoughts on the game coming up on Wednesday.
I'm going to say 5 out of 10. And quickly on the Fulham game, I'm not expecting much, but all I'm expecting is Tottenham to be more ruthless. I think that's the word that we need to instill into the minds. We're ruthless defending. They look like they'll put their lives on the line to stop shots well, maybe not this game, but I've seen certain games where players have put their bodies on the line to stop shots. I want to see that same ruthless attitude going forward now, like we had with Poch. And when we find that balance between the way that Poch plays attacking football and defensive stability, I think we have a really, really, we've got something going. We really do have something going, but it's just about a balance. It's just about a balance.
Yeah. So I'm going to go just about in the middle of you two. I'm going to say 6 out of 10 for the team. I don't think we did anything too drastically wrong, but we didn't do enough to warrant the win. Put it that way. Yeah. I will give the manager 4.5 out of 10 for that one. The reasons being substitution at the wrong sort of times, not getting them to go for that. That's got to come from the manager. So right, we want to keep on the pressure, blah blah blah. Get that second goal in the first 15 minutes, really make a difference. So 4 out of 10 for the manager, 5 out of 10 for the team. So we look forward to Fulham, and I think we've got to get. I say all the time, we've got to get 3 points. Okay, so we're going to wrap up there. Thank you guys both. Thank you all for watching FTB Sports. This is the post-reaction show with Sam, Mike, and Darius, and we hope to see you for the preview of the Fulham game. That will be on Tuesday, and then we'll do another post-match on Wednesday for the Fulham games. Guys, I hope we a little bit more up-tempo, upbeat for the one on. Okay, look who we've got. We've got a comment here. I know this guy, Tipper D. Shane, you look stressed. He is an Arsenal fan. Do not let. We're coming off this stream now because I don't want to start getting these people on here. FTB Sports, like, subscribe, share, comment. We've got people now jumping on, and we're not having any more of this. So look forward to seeing you guys on the next show. Thank you very much, guys. Thank you, Mike. Thank you, Darius. We'll see you again soon.